Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Around South Jersey. I have probably one of my longest friends in longevity here with me tonight. I've always enjoyed Mickey Brandt. Mickey and I were reminiscing. We go back about 50 years to the public access, and it was Channel 7. We were
Channel 7 to start with, cable right? Channel 7.
Yeah. It was interesting, too, because Mickey and I were talking about, I did a newscast. Bobby DiPolita, I think, did weather, and Glenn did some stuff. I think Glenn Lilly did a little bit of stuff, too. But it was comical because it didn't last long, and the reason was it couldn't sell advertising. That was the major thing. Right. And today, I still struggle to sell advertising. 50 years later.
Yeah, you thought you could do it. When Jim kind of came around, we were really struggling, that's fair to say. And Jim said, well, maybe I can carry it on. And because he always did the advertising, basically, for Cable Channel 7. So, we passed it along. Yeah. It was so much fun. Still remains a highlight of my life.
Yeah, it was.
Of course, I was really young also then, too. I can help you with highlights.
You came up with Public Access Productions, too. We were on Spring Road with that. It was a nonprofit.
Yeah, it was all a nonprofit, volunteer. We probably had,
got paid.
Over the years, the years, it was only 3 years, but we probably had 100 people volunteered. Yeah. It was nice. It was a real trip, as they said. It
really was.
Long, strange trip.
Yeah.
We did some wild stuff.
Yes. I love some of Glenn Lilly's Lily Pad.
He did Lily's Pad. He did TV Dinner. The question that we asked at the beginning of TV Dinner is, look in the TV dinner and see if in the microwave, the oven actually, and see if the peas and carrots have thawed out. That was the theme of the show.
Glenn has such a great personality.
Yeah, Glenn is,
really got a great sense.
And Glenn had a great career, and Glenn always had a little hand in the show business side and in the radio side, and hosted radio shows. And
yes, he did. Was vice president of Claridge Casino Hotel.
Still working as we were.
Yeah.
As we are.
Yes, exactly. And boy,
he's working a little harder than me.
We're all in our mid-70s, and yet people say to me, when are you going to retire? I said, when I drop dead here, and I've wrote Cap Shannon come pick my body up, and that'll be it. Because, Vicki, you've got to have the same situation. If I listed every job I had, it would take the whole show, from this. Right. But I think that high energy, I don't know if it's ADD, whatever you want to call it, I get bored easy. And if I don't have something to do, I'm very bored. So you like
it is ADD.
Yep, it's for sure. and I taught school, and I had kids, boys especially, seemed to have the ADD as well. But I was never a discipline problem. Some of the boys that I had in 7th grade, they were tough. They couldn't sit still, and they were all over the board, discipline-wise and all. But let's talk about the Brandt family before we talk about what you're doing. My heavens, you guys were like the people that were the best writers, and your dad was Del Brandt was your dad,
right? I was just talking to my grandson Gavin, or grandson Luke. I was taking Luke through Bridgeton. I actually forget which one it was. That's really weird. That's ADD. But we were going through Bridgeton, and I was taking him past. It was Gavin, because we were going to
Tenbrook,
to Dragon Village on Friday night. It was really cool. That was a really great time at Dragon Village. I'll tell you about that later, especially the fire dancing. And I was taking him through Bridgeton, and I showed him a place where my wife had lived in the Atlantic Street house with a bunch of friends as a communal living place. Right in Bridgeton, not California, not, where you're from, like make the change where you're from. And then I took him past Uncle Ralph's house. Ralph Brandt was the longtime editor, and even more so the columnist at the Bridgeton Evening News. His column called The Scribbler, which is still probably known by the oldest people and anybody that passed it down, ran for more than 70 years as a daily column.
Wow.
And that is, we've looked, and it's not the longest, but it's very close to the longest running column ever. And then my dad worked for him in Bridgeton for a while, my dad Del, and he said, hey, there's really not room in this town for both of us. So he essentially, after a little traveling around, moved to Vineland, and he became the best known newsman in Vineland, and started writing a daily column called Around Our Town, which didn't run quite as long because my dad had the sense to retire and go do time capsules instead for his last 20 years.
Did he really?
But he did write columns until March of 2004. and he died in June.
Wow.
So he actually did what you were demonstrating there.
Right.
The weekly column.
Wow.
He kept it up. He kept up all his faculties.
Well, and that keeps you sharp. You know what I mean? When you do what you do and like what we do.
I mean, crossword puzzles are supposed to do that, and other types of activities, and writing, creative writing, journalistic writing. The quiet recognition. My dad was a really quiet guy. He had a different form of ADD, I think, and he didn't go out and get accolades, but he knew that he was getting accolades, and he liked it. So you like the recognition.
Yeah, he was the man. Or Millville, or the Daily Vine and Times Journal is what it was, and and then your brother followed.
My brother Randy was a managing editor at 5 different major newspapers. He moved from this area in 1989, and he died 2.5 years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He was retired for a while. He had to retire, but he went from place to place, and he was a national expert in diversity in newsrooms. That's later in his career. That's what he, like, promoting people inside the newsroom that he knew were good.
Oh, that's great.
Without regard.
Right.
Not. This is different from affirmative action. This is just hiring. Giving people a chance. You're not that good. Hey, you're good. Oh, good, you're black too. So I really want diversity in my newsroom, and women working in news. He would go to national conventions and speak there.
Wow.
And he started at the Atlantic City Press as a beat writer,
so
covering
the press.
City Council of Vineland.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I got to tell you a funny story that Randy did. I had just gotten elected freeholder for Cumberland County, and someone brought forward the fact that the Romanik, who was the head of the welfare agency, there were like 8 Romaniks working, or relatives of the Romaniks working for the welfare agency. So, what's his name? The chairman of the board, and Steve Romanik and I went, I'll think of his name in a minute, but anyway, we went to the diner, the presidential diner, and guess who's there? Randy comes right in. He's getting his interview. And what ended up happening, to be honest with you, was, I don't know if you remember that, I mean, it didn't look good because, Steve was the executive director, and there were all these Romaniks who were relatives to the Romaniks. But when it was looked at, they all had to take civil service tests. They all had to be qualified. So it wasn't like they weren't qualified.
Right.
It's just they
had that going for you.
Yeah, so that was the big family that they had. But Randy was on top of it, man. He was right there.
He described the furthest that ever went was when he was working in Racine, I believe, where he finished his career. He worked about 15 years at the Racine Journal Daily, interestingly enough. Oh. And they were doing things on the sheriff's department, and the sheriff in particular. And it was a lot more corrupt than putting your family into jobs that they qualified for. Right. Don't know the issues. Yeah. But they started to track him down as he left the place on election night. They started following him.
Wow.
And they were yelling at him. They didn't. He said, they never caught me. They never beat me up. My car was close enough. And then they drove around town to the editor's house, and they shot a bullet through his window in his house.
Oh, my God.
For the newspaper coverage that they were doing.
Jeez.
And, that had happened. That was a little early for that.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, it happens more now, I believe, than it did in 2000. I guess it was around 2000 that was happening.
Well, speaking of time.
So yeah, and I was just reading the Cape May Herald.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
Their front page is covered with political corruption, like documented. Beautiful, investing Wildwood.
Yes.
Wildwood.
Yeah, Wildwood.
Not Cape May.
Right. Yeah.
But like public, Public Records Act materials, and just like not a hit job. It's like exactly this happened, and here was the court case, and
they took medical benefits they weren't supposed to.
And this is local journalism that's actually still going on like that, which is dying out in most areas.
Yeah,
I mean, there's not many places where you can go and see a local paper like that do those kind of stories.
That's a weekly, though.
Yeah, it's weekly.
Yeah, but and of course we'll get to SNJ today, where you're doing the columns and stuff. But recently, at a meeting that now the county commissioners, used to be freeholders, county commissioners, have us televise their meetings live, and then we replay them as well. In the last meeting, I was watching a lady from Fairfield Township. She was speaking, and she mentioned our cameraman. She pointed to the camera person to be there. She said, I can't find out anything about what's going on in my township, what's going on in Bridgeton, because there are no newspapers covering the towns anymore. So, I mean,
it's a dream.
Yeah, to the county's credit, at least they're televising all the meetings, and they're transparent.
That's a big help.
Yeah, it really is. It's something
people can't get out. They can see that. I mean, if people want to go to a public meeting, they can, but few do, and there's no way for them to report to others, really, except on social media, and sometimes that gets a little watered down. The problem with local media, real hyper-local media is, it's kind of dying.
Yeah.
There's online publications that try to keep it alive. If it's advertiser-based, very difficult, especially when you're new.
Yeah.
You don't have a long legacy as a daily paper or a weekly paper.
Yeah. It's hard to get advertising. It really is.
It's a little hard to do. But it's like it's what is.
Yeah.
I mean, there's philosophies that talk about that and being in the moment, and it's like for us to regret it personally, but like it is.
Yeah.
So it's actually better to kind of live it the way it is rather than reminisce.
Yeah.
Except for drawing lessons out of it, the way it was. This is the world we live in. That happened with baseball. The changes in Major League Baseball. This is why you say it's ADD. Boom, boom, boom.
Do you like that?
Did you know that AD people are automatically attracted to each other also, and like get along real well, and they can tell. Like you could say, oh that person has it too.
Well, we're not boring. We always have something.
That's true. Nobody ever accuses us. Oh man, you're really boring.
I'm talking with Mickey Brandt, who is the columnist for SNJ Today's weekly paper. We'll be back to talk about that and much more right after these messages.
More than a century ago, General Tire was born, right here in America. Since then, we've made a name for ourselves by making tires you can depend on. Tires built to handle any road this country can throw at them, and relied on by every kind of driver. So you know that no matter where life takes you, with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
At Mintz Insurance, we're proud to have been serving our customers for nearly 80 years, offering 30 different insurance products for your auto, home, and business. And to help ensure that you're getting the best rates possible, we give you up to 3 quotes for every policy, so you can choose what's right for you. At Mintz, we're part of the community, local representatives, supporting events, and proud of it. It's part of who we are. Mintz Insurance. Call today and find out how we can help you save on insurance, or visit us at mintzinsurance.com.
Complete Care Health Network has some big news to share with you.
We're here opening more locations and offering more services every day,
including our newest locations on Pearl Street in Bridgeton and High Street in Millville.
We're here with convenient, high-quality, and accessible healthcare services all under one roof.
We're here just a call or an email away.
We're here to provide compassionate care for you and your family.
We're here and we're ready when you are.
Complete Care Health Network. Ready when you are.
Welcome back to Around South Jersey. My special guest is Mickey Brandt, who he and I started in the local cable business 50 years ago at Teleprompter Cable in Vineland. It was the old car wash. We did the news in the car wash garage, and then, of course, developed into Mickey, started Public Access Productions, and then I spun the commercial portion off and came down here to 415 High Street, and pretty much been here ever since. But took a break, went over to Bridgeton, my building over there. But it's nice to be back in Millville as well. Mickey,
I took a break too. I got to say, I took a break and taught for 32 years at Vineland Public Schools.
Yeah, that's right.
That was my break.
That was your.
I was doing things along that, but I was out of really being. I mean, I was out of being a full-time media person for all that time.
What's funny when you talk about that? I mean, first of all, I don't even know if we got paid. But you don't get into this business locally for the money because it's very minimum wage. In fact, I had Diane Allen on with me one time. She and I were talking about our first radio job. She worked in Mount Holly, and minimum wage, I went to WWBZ when I graduated college. Minimum wage was $1.65 an hour. I think hers was $1.75, So you don't make a lot of money. You do it because you love what you're doing. Right. And if you want to move up, you do. I actually taught school for about 5 years, and then I became a speech therapist. And that helped me because I was able to go from full-time education, part-time TV, radio, to full-time radio, TV, part-time education. So I had a little bit of steady income coming in. Yeah. What did you teach?
I taught the hard to reach students, not slow learners, just like the non-learners, the people that were so, upset and not into the literacy of school.
Disturbed a little bit.
And they would say, hey, this kid, Brandt does pretty good with these kids. Let's send them over to his class, and I would teach them. And
so you had like special.
I just saw one of my former students yesterday in the Dollar General. He's working there.
That's great.
Looked good.
That's
family,
good.
Whole thing.
That's nice.
I love running into them.
Yeah.
And I love, they say sometimes, that he did, they say, hey, like you played a part in this.
That's super.
Like you gave us respect.
Yeah, that's important.
And we took that from, we took that to the bank, some of us.
That's great.
But the other half, I don't see them. They could be dead. I know for a fact that there's, a dozen of my students at least that are dead. And could be in jail, or they could just be, under the radar. But these guys, and girls, mostly guys. That's how I taught them. 7th and 8th graders mostly. Started in high school, but 7th and 8th grade students mostly.
Yeah, I taught 7th.
And it meant something to me.
Yeah.
And I'm really, really glad I did it now because I have all the, I'll be honest, I have all the benefits and pensions and health costs and all that stuff.
That's nice.
Came with it, and I recognized that somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
I said, okay, I'm going to stay with this, and I'm going to do my media career later. And, I got back into it after I retired from teaching. I started working for Mike Epifanio at the Grapevine 2 months after I left teaching.
See?
And I'm still doing it.
Yeah.
I'm still writing, and I'm actually on radio also.
Oh, yeah?
Pop FM 99.
Oh, that's right. Sure. That's the SNJ Today.
SNJ Today is part of SNJ Today.
Yes.
Broadcast on 99 FM and on the web
AM.
worldwide, and I do the news there. I'm on each day with Daily News Show.
Oh, that's neat.
We'll leave it at that. It's not live, but it's there.
Oh, that's nice.
And and I write for Kenny Pastizzi and Deb Hine, and Clarissa Tony does everybody works at home.
Yeah,
now, everybody, every person works at home.
Well, COVID got everybody at home anyway.
Yeah, and it turned out to be very cost effective for a lot of places, and it's cost effective there, so we do it.
That's nice.
For a while, I had a radio broadcast booth. When I first started the radio, I actually had a broadcast booth like this. That was kind of cool. Swing the microphone over and do that. But now I'm with I work on my little iPhone and I do it at home.
Oh, I see. Okay, gotcha.
and then post it up there remotely.
Oh, that's neat. What time's your show on?
It's every hour on the hour.
Oh, that's super.
18 hours a day.
Okay.
It's one story per day.
Okay. Gotcha.
And and I get minimum wage.
Yeah, well, we talked.
I mean, it's only one story, so I don't get a whole lot, of course.
Right. Yeah.
But I write it. I love gathering it.
Yeah.
I don't like to spend a lot of time on it, but if I see something interesting, I'll even make a phone call or two. And for a 1-minute newscast, that's really hardcore. But I like doing it. It covers 3 counties: covers Cumberland, Salem, and Gloucester.
Right. Yeah.
And it's fun.
Yeah. And it's something that. It's amazing. You've done TV, radio, and of course, what I really admire is I'm not a writer. I wrote a weekly column for Millville News years back, and it was tough for me. I'm not a morning person, so I would write from 11 at night till 1 in the morning. That's when my brain works best, I guess.
Yep.
And I would do stories about former athletes and interview them and talk to them. It was some interesting things that, just as an example, one of the fellows, Johnny Spaeth, was on my Little League team, and he was an excellent ball player. And we got talking about his college career and that type of stuff. And he said, Jim, he said, my most memorable experience was as a Little Leaguer on my team. We were lucky, Mick. We were so good, we won the city championship. And by winning the city championship at that time, Millville got invited up to that stadium. So this was 1980. Wow. So we won the city championship in 1980. It's the same year the Phillies won the World Series. So you got Pete Rose and you got Mike Schmidt, Larry Ball. I got to take the guys down on the field, hit ground balls to them and all that.
Man.
And he said that was the highlight of my life, that he's remembered all these years, and this was maybe 20 years ago.
Sure.
But, there's some special times that occur. But I enjoyed the kids. And this is a neat one too. You could appreciate this. I did coaching of boys and girls, boys Little League and my daughter's girls softball team. So I got the all-star team for the girls softball, and we were doing really well. We were going to districts and regionals and all that kind of stuff. And we got to the point where we made the states, and my two coaches, who are nice guys, said to me, "Jim, you got to cut this out." I said, "What's that?" "You can't play all the girls. You got to just play the 10 best."
Oh, the must-play rule you're talking about?
No. You had the option of not playing girls.
Right.
And I thought, you know what, they're all-stars. So I said to the one guy, "Here, you're the manager for today's game. I'm just going to coach." It ended up that the two of the girls, one was on my own team, never got to play a doubleheader, not in one inning. So the one girl's mother said to me, "Jim," Heather was her name, "she's done." So I called her and I said, "Look, Heather, I apologize. I gave up the managing for today. I'm taking it back tomorrow. Please come back. Promise you'll play second base and bat, whatever." So she did. Guess what? She goes 3 for 4, triple, double, single, drives in 5 runs, and is named the player of the game. Gets a trophy. So, I mean, I understand it's hard to determine the last 3 or 4, but I think if you're an all-star, you should play. Just like in Little League, you had the must-play rule. You get 2 innings at 1 bat at least.
It's a little bit different now. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but that's always a cornerstone of Little League baseball programs.
Yeah,
all the way up.
Yeah,
even to the World Series in Williamsport, which is probably going on next week.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, in fact, was it media? At the Phillies game, they had one of the teams that's playing for the World Series championship. And so you also umpired.
I umpired baseball.
I remember that.
About 28 years.
Did you?
And,
really?
And then I retired 2 years ago, and then I came back because they really needed guys. So I umpired this season.
No kidding.
I was, among the more experienced umpires at my age. I think I was the oldest.
Holy cow!
Yeah, I did about 15 or 20 games.
Behind home plate?
Yeah, behind home plate.
Baseball, hardball?
Yep.
Man, you're a heck
high school.
Man. Wow.
Well, high school and other levels.
Wow.
13-year-old tournaments. Even a little bit of really young, under 7 baseball players.
Yeah.
Which I really liked.
Yeah.
That was not as dangerous behind the plate.
Yeah.
I did get hit. I had to leave 1 game.
Wow.
Out of 15 games, I had to leave 1 for.
Oh my God. Nicky, I give you credit. I tried umpiring.
Parent broken finger, but it wasn't, turned out.
When I was 16, I started umpiring Little League. I was terrible because on foul balls, I turned my head.
Oh, God.
Getting hit on the side of the head, so I was not a good umpire. I started umpiring also when I was 16 years old, locally. Yeah.
And when I went to college, this wasn't on the radar. There were a lot of things on the radar at college that, umpiring baseball was not one of them.
Yeah.
And then I didn't get back into it until my son Rich started playing when he was 9 years old.
Huh.
So I got both into coaching and a little umpiring, and then I got serious about it. Went on high school certification.
That's
and
super.
I did a lot of work there. I loved it.
Wow.
Traveled far for these games that paid minimum wage.
Yeah.
And just
had fun.
I just loved it. So coaching baseball, I coached high school JV baseball at Lyman High for 10 years with Coach Clemick.
Yeah, I remember
the late
Rich
Coach Clemick. Yeah. And now I'm actually an active, this year I wasn't, but I'm sort of active as a youth coach now. One of my grandsons is playing farm league, and he played T-ball, junior farm league.
Right.
We'll see what the future holds on that. Sometimes I got a little over the top doing that, like bringing out my own pitching machine to give my batters batting practice. And, these guys that are working all day, 8 to 5, and they get out to the field, and they're like, who's this guy? What's he doing? He thinks he's in the World Series, and he's only coaching 8-year-olds. So, yeah.
Well, we're with Mickey Brandt, and we keep talking about him being a columnist with SNJ today, and he told us he's on Pop FM 99.9 FM and does a news thing on the hour. But when we come back from the commercial break, we'll talk about some of the great stories that Mickey's written in the SNJ Today weekly paper, and we'll do all that right after these messages.
In South Jersey, we do things our own way. We say things out loud, face things head on, and never back down. And that's how we fight cancer. With the most advanced diagnostics, leading-edge technology, and a team of doctors who know how to treat your cancer. And most importantly, we do it right here at the Frank and Edith Scarpa Cancer Center, Vineland, and the Leading Edge Cancer Center, Mullica Hill.
Are you just part of the crowd?
Do you feel isolated and alone?
Do you wish someone would see your gifts?
Would you like to be seen as an individual?
A person of value.
Full of life and purpose. Part of a family that cares?
The most important decisions a family can make are usually made around the kitchen table. At DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, we believe pre-planning and the difficult decisions you face with the loss of a loved one should also be made around the comfort of a table, like a family. Our friendly, kind, and compassionate staff is committed to helping you get through this most difficult time. In your time of need, trust DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, Vineland.
Hello, I'm Erica, owner here at Everything Classy Sweet Soulful Cafe. We're located at 230 North High Street in Millville. We offer a wide array of home-cooked meals, from our tasty breakfast entrees, fabulous lunch options, including homemade soups, and of course, our delicious desserts. Celebrating someone special in your life? Let us create a beautiful cake for your next celebration. We're open Thursday through Monday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Call us at 856-765-3282 or visit us online at everythingclassy.com. Everything Classy Sweet Soulful Cafe, where the main ingredient is love.
Named after Mickey Cochran.
Welcome back to Around South Jersey, and my producer Ryan Narowski told me check my Facebook, and one of the people on Facebook is a lovely lady, Michelle Lowe, mentioned, she said, "Hi, Mickey," and she knows all about ADD, LOL. So
yeah, I seem to remember that.
And then Glenn Lilly, who we talked about earlier, he said, "Quinty, you see, speaking to the man who's signed the famous foul pole at Fenway Park." You signed
I signed the foul pole at Fenway Park.
The Penske pole?
I signed the pesky pole.
No kidding.
And it was in memory of Paul Fava, our oldest son, who passed away in that year when we took that trip.
I'll be darned. That is cool.
Yeah.
Yep. And the other thing Glenn said was he's been influenced by two Mickeys in his life, Mickey Mantle and Mickey Brandt. That's pretty good company there.
That is pretty good company. Thank you, Glenn.
So good to hear from you.
We're going to have a reunion pretty soon.
Yeah.
Last time I talked about that was about 18 years ago, but we've had it on our mind since then. And Mickey Mantle and Mickey Brandt. Got to tell you this one. My dad's favorite baseball player was Mickey Cochran. Mutt Mantle's favorite baseball player was Mickey Cochran.
Oh, I'll be darned.
And he named Mickey Mantle after Mickey Cochran. And my dad named me sort of after Mickey Cochran, but also my mom's dad, my grandfather.
Oh, that's neat. Pretty cool.
Tidbit. Thanks for that, too, Glenn. Good lead-in.
Yeah. So some of the people that you've interviewed, that you've, with the paper, tell me about some of the ones.
Well, the story, I don't want to, well, I guess I do, actually. I mean, SNJ today is a local, hyper-local media, including both the radio, which covers Cumberland, Salem, and Gloucester County, and the newspaper, SNJ Today newspaper, which in the form of the Grapevine previously has been around for about 17 years. We've been trying to do math on years here. And local coverage every week, comes out every Wednesday, goes online on Tuesday nights, and I got a chance to write there. I'm called, the guy in the liquor store makes fun of me for this. My title is Contributor Emeritus, meaning that I've been around so long that I have an honorary title. And the thing that's coming out this week is something that wasn't known too much to me, even with my education background. There are 5 choice schools in Cumberland County. They are schools where parents can apply and try to get into that school instead of their own local district. And if they are, their own local district pays for them. The parents don't pay anything. There's no private or charter or anything involved in this. Choice schools, and they are the Vineland, Cumberland Regional. I'll mention a little bit about their program. Down Township, Morris River Township, and Lawrence Township. They all accept a limited number of students from other districts. The applications are coming out for the next school year of 24-25. And we put all in the newspaper, the article, the ways that you're supposed to work out how you can get into that, to these programs. It's very, very limited. Waiting lists are very, very long. We're clear about that. But it's here and it exists. And at Cumberland Regional, they have a specific, what's called a magnet program, which is intended to draw a specific student. Yeah. And it's in the agricultural field. Yeah. They have about 160 choice students. Yeah. When the seniors graduate, that's opened up to about 40 or 45 slots for new students to come into the program. And they do an amazing job with outplacing their students. Their students, like, they graduate high school, they go right into the workforce, or they go to agricultural colleges like Cook College in the field that they want to be in, and it's known as one of the better choice programs anywhere around. So that's this week's story, and before that, I don't know how often I write. I mean, sometimes it's every 2 weeks, sometimes it's every 5 weeks.
Well, you're emeritus, so
I'm emeritus. I don't like to ever turn them down, but I actually do. That's true. I have that privilege. You know? I think I do. If Deb Mine is watching, I have to ask her whether I actually do have that privilege. Before that, I did something that, again, was a little known to me, and it was right in my neighborhood. It was the Mananico Creek Nature Preserve, which is 600 acres along the Mananico Creek in extreme southeast Vineland. And it's preserved for good. Nobody can ever do anything with it. It's sometimes, some of those areas are prime development area. There's one right across the street from the Nature Preserve that's was all developed. It was developed quite a bit. And it added another amount of acreage to it. It added another 85 acres to the preserve that was, bought by the preserve to be connected to it. That just happened. The group is called the New Jersey Conservation Foundation, and they got a lot of help from local people, like the people in CU Morris River. Did a lot of the cleanup and work in the original tract of the 600 acres. They cleaned up hazardous chemicals. It was a pretty big job to get that ready to be open to the public. There's no campsites or anything like that even. It's just nature, fields and streams and trees. Good place to go. I started walking in there. Since it's right around the corner from my house. And, a couple others. We did the golf course, of course, the Trout National Golf Course when it, when it first went under construction. And I actually had to look back here, even on ones that I did 2 months ago. Another part of the SNJ Today organization is Our Town, which is a monthly.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
You could probably describe it better than I can. Actually, you probably may be a little bit familiar with Our Town, but that's another part of the media empire. Not an empire, but the local, hyper-local media effort.
That's good. Yeah, that's certainly something that's important for people to do. And I know people were saying lately we don't have any local newspapers, but somebody said, well, we do have SNJ Today, and there's information there that has a lot more local stuff than any place else you're going to find. So
there's a community update that presents locally slanted news, sometimes from we take New Jersey news and we apply it to how it applies in this county, like this grant went to this Cumberland County organization, right, amongst all the other grants that went, and when the state makes the announcement about the grants. There's a really good column, and every week Jane Galetto writes a nature column that it's just so unique, and she does it all the time, and it's very good writing, and that's a regular feature. And Marianne Lodes from Millville, from Millville the Arts District, writes a column about everything going on there. And Russell Swanson from the Vineland Downtown Development District, Main Street, Vineland, he writes. They sort of alternate a little bit. It's not every single week by both of them. Bridgeton Mayor Kelly sometimes contributes a commentary, has interesting commentaries. So it really is. I mean, it's a local newspaper.
Yeah.
Everything in it is local. There's a community events section and also an entertainment section. And it even has a Faces in the News where I love doing these. I only get to do a few of them anymore, but you send in your information with a photo.
Oh, I see.
This one happened to be a kid who graduated, and he went up to Philadelphia and he met with Charlie Manuel and sat at the game with him and got his hat autographed, and it just it really meant a lot to him for it was his birthday.
Oh, that's neat.
And you can do that. It's called Faces in the News. So they're the highlights. There's a big entertainment section, which features things that are going on within 15 miles of your house on weekends and even during the week.
Yeah, a lot of things that are happening in Cumberland County that at least they publicize that and get some information on it, and that's really helpful.
It is mailed to homes in Vineland, not all homes, but it's mailed to homes in Vineland. It's mailed to homes in some parts of Millville. And most of the issues are available in local places. ShopRite carries them, the libraries carry them, many other local retailers and public agencies, YMCA carries them. They're there every Wednesday morning. It's all free distribution, and they're mailed free of charge. There's no, it's just, maybe that's the way local media has to work. That takes us all the way around to the beginning, where local media is not to make a lot of money. It's to do a service and have it cost you anything. I mean, you try not to do that.
No, it's an interesting situation that goes on, but time has changed. Everything anymore is on the phone. I used to have great success doing car shows years back. Anymore, now all people do is grab their phone and say, "Hey Siri, I'm looking for a 19 or we'll say a 2010 Ford F-150 pickup truck," and all the ones pop up. So it's a lot quicker than sitting for an hour watching the television show like people used to do.
Yeah, the media that we're talking about now, it's a sort of a isolated. It's not. I mean, it could be considered old school, but I think about it as isolated, kind of objective, kind of without any type of bias or screed or quick, let's get like look at this for 7 seconds and have it make an impact on you. It's more thought out, and social media is it is we were talking about that before we went on. It is that's the life that our children and grandchildren live, and that's the way it is.
It is,
and this is a bit of an alternative to that, but it's only a bit of an alternative. That's it. I mean, I laughed the first time I saw. This was back when I don't know. Twitter was really. It was already underway, but it was getting more widespread. I wasn't in on 2006 when it started, but soon after that. And one person was promoting herself as she was an influencer. I said, well, that sounds like a pretty good job. Being an influencer. Where can I appear? Where can I apply for that? And I should have applied for that, because now being a social media influencer is a hugely big and lucrative job. You just influence people through your social media accounts, and people pay you to do it because they want you to influence them in a certain direction.
Oh, I see.
She happened to be in the legalization of marijuana industry. That was her specialty, and that was just a blip on the radar. And now it's a blip in tens of millions of homes. And she was a pace setter of that, and I don't know who she is. I don't know anybody on Twitter is actually, but and that's it. People aspire to do that. Gamers, professional gamers, and social media influencers are two legitimate, very good. A lot of competition, same as show business, but very good career paths for young people. A lot of young people want to be doing that. You have a better chance than playing NFL football. Being a social media influencer in a specialty field of yours. That you can, have the energy or the ADD or both to do it.
It's really amazing when you think about it.
Yeah, it is. It's extraordinary.
It's and of course, marijuana is legal in New Jersey. I don't know other states, but certainly here it's become a legal.
Yeah, about 20.
Or 20 other states. Maybe?
Yeah, that recreational marijuana is completely legal. New Jersey, it's more highly regulated than some other states, although that's kind of changing now. New Jersey, in the latest round of licenses, gave out a lot of licenses, and they particularly tried to give them to people that could really use them, and not to people that already had 7 businesses and were just diversifying. The earlier ones, though, were that way. I'm not going to mention any names, but the earlier marijuana dispensaries are, the mega business.
Oh.
One of them has outlets in 17 states.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Has 3 just in New Jersey. But yeah, there you go.
Holy mackerel.
That's what the show is about, going from thought to thought.
Yeah, that's right.
You should call it Thought to Thought.
Yeah, exactly right.
In South Jersey.
We're talking with Mickey Brandt, who is a columnist for SNJ Today newspaper, and has done all kind of things in his life and done them well. And we'll be back to wrap up the show, and we'll keep talking with Mickey right after these messages.
When you want delicious food made from scratch soups and locally sourced ingredients, you head to Larry's 2 on Main Road in Vineland, New Jersey. Family owned and operated, Larry's 2 boasts one of the area's only salad bars with a great selection of fresh vegetables, rolls, dressings, and more. In their cafe, enjoy a piping hot cup of your favorite beverage made by one of their skilled baristas. Their complimentary Wi-Fi allows Larry's 2 to be the meeting destination with a friend or small group. They also offer banquet rooms that can accommodate 10 to 120 guests for any occasion. Open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Sunday through Thursday, and 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. Call Larry's 2 today at 856-692-9001. Larry's 2 Restaurant and Cafe, located at 907 North Main Road in Vineland, New Jersey.
Imagine living without pain. For over 35 years, Doctors Beebe and Doyle have helped thousands of people find relief from all types of pain. Millville Chiropractic Center has 4 doctors on staff specializing in hands-on or light-touch, drug-free pain relief methods. The examination, x-rays, therapies, and adjustments are all performed at one location. Schedule a consultation today. Enjoy life without pain and discomfort. Millville Chiropractic Center, the area's #1 pain relief center.
Vineland, New Jersey is a place rich in innovation and deeply rooted in hometown traditions. The city's agricultural legacy, where brands like Welch's and Progresso originated, lives on today alongside companies producing the critical pharmaceutical packaging we depend on. While Vineland continues to grow, it retains a quality of life enriched by cultural diversity and an abundance of nature's playgrounds to enjoy.
I'm Mayor Anthony Fanucci. We have something for everyone at vinelandcity.org.
Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season.
Welcome back to Around South Jersey. I'd like to invite you to check out our QBC TV on Instagram and follow us on Instagram whenever you can. We'd like to have you do that. And, of course, this is interesting, Mickey, speaking about, the online stuff. Last year, Millville won the state championship, and I've been doing Millville football. I started doing Millville football on the radio in 1969. And then since then, either radio or TV, I've done it for all those years. And
you do that when you were 8. Huh?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I just graduated college. In fact, when I started doing that.
Yeah, I know you were.
Yeah, and but the interesting thing is, we had last year on Facebook and YouTube. We had over 500,000 views or hits or whatever it is, because people. And, it's nice, too, is when you go to the game, if you want, you just take your phone and you can watch it on Facebook or YouTube. And, you can see Ryan Orowski does a great job producing the game. So you can see the instant replays and all that kind of stuff. And, it just works out for everybody. So, that really has become very, very popular. In fact, Doug Stasic has BFA Productions, and they use YouTube. And they go all over to all kind of games and events and all those things as well. So you don't have to have a local channel. You can, put like they do. They get a lot of response on their YouTube channel. So, somebody wants to get into producing programs,
right?
Do your own YouTube.
Right. Yeah, well. the equipment is accessible now. Yeah. It's very much like the YouTubers that are just set in a home studio and do video games and do all that. These BFA, they go out, they get live.
Yes, they do.
Live action. They actually stream live a lot of the things. I'm familiar with their work. I see them at Cumberland County College baseball games. Yeah. And they have great announcers. Interestingly enough, they don't skimp on that. They're probably making minimum wage also, but it's good production.
Yes,
it's static camera, but it's good production.
Yeah,
this is good production, static camera.
Yep, but we have 3 cameras.
It remains a growth field in a different direction.
Well, it was interesting, Mickey, when we did black and white TV.
That's amazing. People can't even relate to what you're talking
that was
about
in the
black and white television when we started.
74. And then when I took over here, probably around 77, 76, I bought 2 color cameras. And at that time, they were Sony. One was $6,500 and the other was $5,500. And, that was the first
Today's
color
money,
television.
that's about $100,000.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
each.
Right. But now they're much less expensive.
Oh, yeah.
They're like everything, the television. Can you imagine, years ago, we'd buy those console TVs with, the things and all, and they were $500, $600, $700. Now you can buy a giant, 42-inch for $399 or $299.
Guy that you might remember a little bit at Camtel Video, Jack Campbell.
Oh, yeah.
Remember him a little bit?
Yeah.
You straightened me out on him. He had a projection TV.
Wow.
Long before there were 70-inch screens.
Yeah.
Projection TV.
Right.
It had a little thing actually in the front that was projecting the picture onto this television that weighed 1,000 pounds. Couldn't get it out of his house. When he had to move out of his house, he had no possible way of getting this thing out of his house. But it was, that was state of the art. It just was a little heavy.
Yeah, I guess so. Wow, that is unbelievable. How times have changed where the cameras have gotten so good and they're less expensive. And everything's HD, high definition. Although with Channel 22, we're still standard definition, and Channel 190 is standard definition. But they've picked it up.
You're standard definition, but you're putting it out in an envelope form, so it's it's not stretched across the screen like the standard definition used to be
exactly.
when everybody was going HD. So it looks good.
Yeah,
looks very good.
What my people were telling me, which is good to be able to do that as well. And it's things. It's funny
letterbox,
too.
Not envelope.
I remember
letterbox.
When we when I took over the local channel, it was like, okay, you had religious programming, and there was a wheel that would spin with 3x5 message cards.
Right, they were the ads.
The ads, right, and you have music.
That's how hard it was to get ads.
Yeah, exactly.
Index card ads.
Yeah, and that was what you had. So you have that when you weren't. So I had religious programming, and the sports. The sports sold pretty well. So then I decided to do the auction time show, and that was my idea before Home Shopping or QVC got on the air. I came up with that idea. It was, and we did really well with that. Dedication, I did that from 6 to 11, Monday through Friday evenings, and actually 1 year in Millville alone, we did $500,000 in retail sales, and then we were in Vineland on South Delsey Drive, near Bianco Auto Body, in Bridgeton next to Weber's Candy Store, and then Joe O'Donnell and I started Clover Cable in the townships, and we had a place in Haleyville, so we had our studios. So we had 4 studios.
You had to be close to where your signal was going. When you were doing local television, you couldn't do it from like some central transmitter. Right. You had to be out there in the field.
At the end of that location. So we had 4 different places. I had 4 different people on the air doing the shows, and it was interesting, but it was
new. People buying things off television was new.
It was, and what was nice, Mick, there's only 12 channels, and so they didn't have a whole lot. Now you have
that's right.
Channels.
That's why we got one person to watch old cable Channel 7, because they would be going from Channel 6 to Channel 8.
Right.
I don't think we had a Channel 8.
I don't think so either.
And they would say, "What is this?" And they would watch us, and pretty soon we had thousands of people who would say, "Well, it's this." Tune them in, because You know, they auction beer on their late night show, and after they have their cocktail party and they get contributions that way, then they auction off the beer, and people actually bid on it and came and got the beer. That kind of thing. It wasn't all crazy. It was, I mean, you know, we did our local sports, Vineland High. Yeah. We did that live starting in 1975. Yeah. We've had live, televised, local, hyper-local sports for 50 years.
Yeah, in this amazing?
Area. Yeah. We did it for 3, and Jim did it for 47.
Yeah, it's been unbelievable when you think about, you know, what's available. And now with Facebook and YouTube, it's just unreal that you can, you know, get so many viewers. And the other thing that's tough is there are 67,000 homes that have Comcast cable in Cumberland County. I can't tell you how many people are watching at any time because we don't have Nielsen ratings, and there's no way of measuring it. Where with Facebook and YouTube, you have those hits that Ryan could go and check and see how many people watched each game.
Oh, yeah, it's not everything about them.
Yeah,
you know, the last 50 websites that they visited. If you're curious, you can also get that from them. I got to say something.
Sure.
I don't know how much longer we have. I just wanted to say hello to my wife, Ceci Brandt, who I believe is watching the live broadcast. So,
what a wonderful lady.
You know, if
she is. She really is.
Thank you. That's really.
She is one of the nicest people you'll ever meet in your life. You were a smart man.
I did. I couldn't. Yeah, that was a no-brainer.
Yeah, I give you a lot of credit. She's a sweetheart. Great lady.
Yeah, thanks.
Really
so,
yep, nice to have you watching us. It's good.
Yeah, that too. There. Posted on Facebook. And then
you don't do Facebook very much.
Not very much on Facebook. See, not even very much on Twitter. I did X. I guess it is. I have to call it X now. I was on X. I'm on X.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, I don't do Twitter. Basically, I just do Facebook most of the time, and gives you the opportunity to interact and communicate with people, which was nice. And in fact, we had a nice thing that happened today. And I'm still trying, folks, that Mike Trout comes in August 28th. It's Millville night at Citizens Bank Park. And a lady named Andy, I think, Angie was her name, from Atlantic County, messaged me on Facebook, and she ended up having me go pick up the tickets for her. She bought 28 or 29 tickets for Millville night at Citizens Bank Park. It's August 28th. They're available at the Leavoy. They're only $26. And they're good seats because they face the scoreboard, and and the Phillies are really doing well.
The Phillies are doing okay, and Mike Trout is, he's really worth going just to see really Mike Trout. Absolutely. And they have a lot of other things around him on that team.
Yeah. Ohtani,
if you know what I mean.
It's
Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah. So I mean, they're two of the best ball players in America.
He's the strangest and best. For people that don't know him, Ohtani is a pitcher and an outfielder.
That's like
and he has really, really high offensive numbers in hitting, average, slugging, all that. And he has really impressive pitching numbers also from when it's his turn to pitch. So he's the greatest both tool player that's ever played for sure.
Yeah.
Even better than Babe Ruth. And he's an exciting player. So it's a good game to go to.
Yeah, it really is. It's
and buses, I guess, right? Buses going up.
There are, yes, for those that want for $25 more, you can get a bus. They have some buses going as well, and I think there's still seats available for the bus, so that saves you parking and everything else that goes with it. Parking is usually around $20 at the one lot that I go all the time, but I have the regular season pass, so I go to a parking lot where I already prepaid the ticket. But the lot before that is $20 for parking, and it's a beautiful park. If you haven't been to Citizens Bank Park, it's just a very, very nice baseball park. And I got to be good friends with Dan Baker. You know Dan?
I don't know Dan.
Great guy. He's the PA announcer. Longest running PA announcer
That's
in
right.
Philadelphia.
Now I know him, now that I have the context.
Yep. 51 years. And he and I went to Glassboro together.
He probably doesn't like social media, but he has lots of followers anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
And I had no one on social media. I'm not on it as such, but I started watching TikTok videos that my son sends me, and they're about baseball.
Oh.
And they're terrific because they really are. They're like, they come out of nowhere. Like when you're watching TikTok, I've learned, like you don't have any control over the videos that you're seeing. They just, eventually they learn the logarithms for what you want to see. Like he gets a lot of baseball in his feed, but they just pop up. And it'll be a video of real stuff, not make-believe, not all, graphics or anything, AI. guy stealing 3 bases at one time on one play. It happened about 3 years ago, but they got the clip on TikTok. Really, there was no errors or anything. He stole second cleanly. There was an overthrow. They caught it, the overthrow. He never had a chance to go, but he noticed that nobody was covering third, so he went to third. And then at third base, the catcher had gone down to cover first because of the rotation if he had come back to first. So nobody was covering home. By the time the pitcher got to home, he had stolen home. So he saw the same play without any intervening plays. That type of TikToks. Really, you see something about a dozen of them so far. Because I tell them more and more and more.
Yeah.
So put in a plug for TikTok, which really would need the good press here.
Getting back, before I forget, Dan Baker, when we had Millville night, I was the vice mayor in 2009. We sold over 5,000 tickets. And to the Phillies' credit, they donated $8 back per each ticket. So we got $40,000 for the MDC and the Arts District and stuff. But the interesting thing that Dan said to me was when Mike Trout came up to bat, it was the longest standing ovation that they ever had for someone other than a returning Philly. He said, so it showed that people really loved Mike. And he was from Millville. He was born in Vineland Hospital, lives in Millville, went to Millville High.
Staying in Millville resident.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that he'll eventually be called, forever Millville resident.
Yeah, absolutely.
Doesn't seem to be making any moves in
no, I think he
in
loves
any other
where he lives. He's got a
direction.
lot of acreage and stuff like that. Plus, like we talked about, the golf course that's going to be that's being built. It'll be Mike Trout and Tiger Woods designing it, and John Ruga and Mike Trout are working on it together. It's John's land. So
we're watching that go up. That's close to not close. I mean, it's about 3 miles from our house, but when we travel through it, it's you can already see what the scale of this is. It's just they're just moving land around and they're putting up walls. But you can see what this is actually going to be. This is going to include a tunnel under a roadway to continue the course on the other side of Hansbridge Road.
Oh, no kidding!
Honest, they're going to build building a tunnel to the other part of the course. Probably the back nine is on. Another part. This is just acres and acres. I mean, it's going to be really startling. It is already startling.
Yeah, it's fabulous. Yeah, it's
South Lincoln Avenue.
Yeah. And, of course, you saw the Vineland commercial. Mickey and I were talking about that, and that's being played throughout the Delaware Valley. And I'll tell you, in fact, on Wednesday evening, the mayor and I do a show, and it's at the Queen Restaurant in Vineland. I don't know if you and Ceci have been to the Queen Restaurant in Vineland, Mickey, but they have a special 2 for $25 meal, which is fabulous. The food's very good, and it's reasonable, and it's very nicely decorated. So the mayor and I will be there this Wednesday at 6 o'clock for the show that we do live, and you're welcome to join us if you'd like to come out and have dinner, or you can message us like Glenn Lilly did on Facebook.
And while we're talking about people watching, if there's anybody out there that knows anybody that would have any interest in building a wiffle ball field, I have a site at my daughter and son-in-law's house where we've talked about putting in a wiffle ball field.
Did you play wiffle ball?
Yeah, I loved wiffle ball.
I did too.
We played competitively.
Wow.
We played we had batting orders of the guys that we drafted, and we had to hit right-handed or left-handed according to the people that were on the team. We played particular teams. I seem to remember now. We had lines and bushes and houses and balconies, and we had pine trees, and they were all we played. We played for real. For a while, we played with plastic golf balls. They were a little harder to hit.
Wow,
than
I guess so.
Balls.
Yeah.
We were good enough to be able to hit. I can't hit a wiffle ball anymore. This isn't, this is what do you call it? I don't know. I'm putting it on for other people. I'm not going to be playing too much wiffle ball because I can't hit it. But we would love to put one up there.
That would be really neat.
It'd be the first official wiffle ball field in our area. Used to be a wiffle ball tournament, actually, not far from here in Newfield, attracted people from all over the state.
Neat. Isn't that something?
Competitive
it was very
ball.
Popular. I know people really enjoyed that.
Okay, so you would call Jim. I guess I'm not going to give my phone number out or anything. But get in touch with QBC TV on Facebook or somewhere.
Right, exactly. Just message me on Facebook, and I'll pass it along to Mickey.
Okay,
Mick, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, for sure. I was really glad that
keep up the good work.
They invited me again.
It's nice to have you here. It was nice to hear from Glenn and all of our friends from way back to
it's
years back.
That'll make me call Glenn.
Yep. Ryan Narowski, thank you for producing the show. My
yes.
Special guest has been Mickey Brandt, longtime writer, teacher, umpire, columnist, you name it, he's done it, and done it all very well, which is really impressive, and I really appreciate his friendship. It's great to have him with us today. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you again real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
This has been a QBC television production, in association with our partners and sponsors. QBC broadcasts on Comcast Cable Channel 22, and live streams its programming on Facebook and YouTube. All rights reserved by Quinn Media and QBC, programming that serves the South Jersey market.